to the show tonight. I think we have a nice color scheme going here so far.
Oh, we do. We are ready for spring.
I've been drinking watermelon.
Welcome in tonight. Sierra Fox joining Marina and I here on the panel tonight. We have a fourth chair to fill tonight. So let's do it right now. Please welcome political and social commentator, CEO of the Prestwood Group, straight out of Ward 8, Troy Prestwood, joining us here on the show tonight. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Dressed in the nines.
Hey.
Oh, thank you, guys.
First time we've had you in studio. You did it in boxes before, but great to see you again,
hey, great to see you as well.
Absolutely.
I'm going to give you another hug.
Yeah.
We gave each other a hug in the dressing room.
Hey,
Good to
how are
see you.
you? Great to see you. Hey, guys.
I've had you in here many times before. Again, first time we had you in studio for this show here.
Yeah.
So people who don't know you, who the hell are you?
Well, I think your intro was pretty good. So I'm Troy Prestwood. I'm from D.C. I'm a native Washingtonian.
Yes.
That's how I look at it. D.C. is, the whole city is my town. And so, yeah, I have a consultancy called the Prestwood Group, and we do a lot of work for good people all across this country. So I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. It's always good to see you.
Now, someone told me Sue Palka was going to be here. Is Sue Palka here?
They let you down. They lied.
What about Wisdom?
It's the fifth. You're stuck with us.
We're not good enough, Troy.
Holly, somebody.
We're just going to send you right back in.
Oh, no. It was dark in there. No. Thank you, guys.
You're with
Absolutely.
the best team.
All right.
I know it.
We have a lot to get to tonight, so let's fire it up. The governor of Ohio wants to require parental consent for kids under 16 to get new accounts on TikTok, Instagram, and most other social media platforms. Basically anything that requires a username. There's a similar proposal in Connecticut. Just yesterday on Capitol Hill, we saw a rare moment of bipartisanship with Democrats and Republicans agreeing on the harm that social media can have on kids. So, Sierra, should a 15-year-old, a freshman in high school, need parental consent to be on TikTok?
Absolutely not. I do not like this. You want to know why?
Go for it.
I don't want to see a baby in a stroller on an iPad, but I think when a child turns 5 or 6, they should be able to use social media and knows how the internet works. It's just going to help them later on in life. That's just the day and age we're in. Now, I think maybe when they get to a certain age, parents should monitor what they're doing and make sure there are limitations as to what actions they're taking online, but I think it's fine.
What do you think, Troy?
Well, I looked at this bill, and I actually don't have a problem with it because I think the Surgeon General came out a few weeks ago and said, listen, parents, you should keep your teens off of social media until they're 16, because there's so much going on with cyberbullying, with this, this crazy idea of what beauty is. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with it. The issue, though, is that kids will find a way around this. They'll find a way around the geofencing that this state wants to do with VPNs. They're going to find a way to get around it. So I like it, but will they actually succeed? I don't know.
I think there's got to be accountability somewhere. I think what we're seeing now is a slippery slope where social media has become the #1 medium, especially for teenagers. They're not coming to television. They're not listening to radio. They're going on their phones, and they're on TikTok. They're on Instagram. And then we see things that devolve into, like what you said, bullying, suicide in schools. We've had time and time again testimony on Congress about depression and how it's affecting especially young girls.
All right, let's move on tonight. A Wall Street Journal article with a headline. It's the headline that's getting a lot of attention, and this is it. To save money, maybe you should skip breakfast. The article, of course, is about the rising cost of certain breakfast items. The author writes, quote, breakfast lovers may be better off just having a cup of coffee. So, Marina, when you saw the article, when you see the responses on your screen from people on Twitter who are just wondering why the heck the Wall Street Journal is telling people what they should do for breakfast, what comes to mind to you?
I think, again, it's like we separate, when people talk about the media and the disdain that they have for, like, the elitist group of the media. This is why, because they're so out of touch. The fact that somebody would be like, don't eat toast, go a whole day without eating until it's 9 p.m. because it's too expensive to eat. How about we address the problem? Like, let's figure out a way, or why don't you report as to why these prices are rising and why you can't consume eggs and why it's cheaper to buy a pound of ground beef than it is to buy a dozen eggs these days. I
don't think a newspaper should be telling Americans what to eat and when to eat.
Thank you.
I think that's for your doctors. Your doctors are there. Your nutritionists are there to tell you, hey, maybe you want to skip breakfast. Not the Wall Street Journal. Shout out to the Journal.
Well, especially too, when we've talked about egg prices and the way that they are.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, it has been prohibitively expensive and it blows the budget for so many people out there. But when you look at some of the options you have out there, places to go, if you're more judicious where you shop, more judicious where you go, you might be able to afford a little bit better. I mean, it's just the times that we're in right now.
Yeah, I mean, you should eat your egg over your triple latte skim oatmeal or whatever that tastes, you know, like nothing and is $8.
Skip the eggs.
Let's move on. Members of Gen Z appear to be making a conscious decision to drive less. Instead, they're turning more to rideshare services and public transportation. New data shows the number of 16-year-olds and 18-year-olds with driver's licenses are down about 20% since the 1980s. So, Troy, what do you think about when younger people say, hey, we're not going to drive here?
Hey, I remember when I was 16, I couldn't wait to get my driver's license. Shout out to my cousin Tammy. She let me drive her white Geo Metro over at the old Brentwood site in D.C. to get my license. Listen, I think this is something that's happening right now because we see high prices with housing, with food. We just talked about eggs, and with other necessities. And so I think young people are saying, hey, why do I need this extra expense if I could Uber, if I could use a scooter, a bike, walk, Metro. I did say Metro. Metro. So, yeah, I get it. For me, though, I love to drive, but I know that others, it's changing for them.
What do you think?
Well, when I moved to the area and I was looking at apartments in D.C., people were like, why do you have a car? Just Uber, Lyft, and Metro everywhere. And it was during COVID, so I was like, I actually need my car to drive to my story, so I can't really do without a vehicle.
I was going to work and in Boston, and I was taking Uber to work some mornings because I felt like I was getting a car service going
celebrity.
in. Well,
That was an ego boost?
Yeah.
Well, but there was also some mornings where it was 3 in the morning, and I wanted sort through emails and that sort of thing and get a little work done before I walked into the newsroom.
Well, could I ask, so here's my concern, right? What happens when the apocalypse comes, right? Because it's going to come. And so if you don't have a car, if you don't have a license to drive, you're going to be stuck.
You better know how to walk and run quick.
Well, one of them.
I think to Sierra's point, I think maybe a part of it is laziness, but I also think that this generation considers themselves far more practical. And if you look at it from an unemotional standpoint, they are, except they're on their parents' buck. Because if you're not working and you're still going to school and you're Ubering and doing all these things, then someone's got to pay for it, right? But to everybody else's point, like for us, it was a rite of passage. It was the first venture into independence. As an old lady now, I'm thankful that the kids aren't out driving. So, hey, the more the merrier, the more room for us.
I'm at the point where I actually enjoy the days where I can take Metro to work when it's open late enough. I love those days. I love when I don't have to deal with the traffic out there.
I hope Metro's listening.
That's it, the traffic.
I hope I put the call. Hey, stay open 1 hour later a week. Randy Clark, you listening? Make my life a lot easier.
Come on, Randy.
Come through. Let us know what you think about this. Go to fox5dc.com/line or scan the QR code on your screen. Teenagers choosing not to get their driver's license. 70% of you don't like it. If only this poll was out when I was turning 16, I know how my parents would vote. You vote too. We're back after this.
That's crazy.
Okay, remember the wardrobe malfunction? Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake, gonna have you naked by the end of the song, and he kind of did. Tom Brady was playing the game, by the way, said in the latest episode of his podcast, quote, I think in the end it was probably a good thing for the NFL because everyone got to talk about it, and it was more publicity for halftime shows. So, Sierra, what do you think? Like it or not?
I see what Tom Brady is saying. Any publicity is good publicity. But at the same time, I know Janet Jackson was traumatized and embarrassed by this, so I don't think we should dismiss that point. But also, did we ever find out if this was done on purpose or not?
There's been disputes about that. I think Janet Jackson addressed that she had that 3-part series. I forget what the channel was, but I think there's been a little bit of back and forth. And Justin Timberlake did come out and apologize to her many years after the fact. Yeah.
So 1993, picture it, right? But that was for me at least, and for so many people, the big Super Bowl halftime spectacle that was Michael Jackson. And so since then, halftime shows have been all about, wow, who are you going to get to perform? So here's the thing. I need Tom to take a knee on this because I don't think he was quite sensitive enough about what was happening with Janet. Keep in mind, like you said, Justin Timberlake's, his career took off. And Janet suffered. And she's still suffering to this day. So I get what Tom is saying. Yes, it may have, created new interest in Super Bowls, but in halftime show, but it was doing that before.
Yeah, but remember, too, when we talk about Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake was invited back for another halftime show. He came back after the fact, and some people said, well, the way that he could have truly redeemed himself was to have Janet Jackson come out during that. That did not happen.
We all were looking for that.
But you talk about Super Bowl halftime shows, the one that I think changed the game was one that happened before 1993 and had nothing to do with what happened with the NFL. It was what happened on Fox, which was not broadcasting the Super Bowl. That was the year they had the In Living Color halftime show, which got that show on the map. They had a timer on the screen. I think the Super Bowl was like on CBS or something like that. So they were telling people, hey, skip the halftime show, turn over to Fox, watch it on Fox. And that, I think, was what put that show on the map originally. Yeah. And I think that's where the NFL felt the heat that every year you got to up the star quotients.
I was a little baby, so I don't know.
I remember watching it very well. All right, moving on. Marriott has a new system for housekeeping. If you're staying at one of their luxury brand locations, the higher-end ones, you'll get the full housekeeping service every day. If you take a step down to one of their premium brand hotels, yeah, we see you, Sheridan. You get what they're calling a daily tidy. They come in, they make the bed, they empty the trash, you get new towels, that's it. And if you slum it at a select hotel, you know, like a Courtyard, you get tidy service every other day. So, Troy, the nicer places get clean more. Doesn't seem right.
It's not right. In fact, so after the pandemic, I went back traveling for, clients, and I didn't know that they weren't coming in to clean your rooms. Like I left the bedroom a mess. I left the bathroom a mess. And I left out and came back, and it was still a mess. And I said, well, what happened here? And they said, oh, you have to let us know like a day in advance if you want it clean. I'm like, if I wanted to leave my bath, if I wanted to come to a bathroom that was in disarray and a room that was in disarray, I would stay home. So anyway, I don't like it. I think we need to go back to the way it was. And if you want to stay with what's happening now with this, tidying, not really doing a lot of cleaning, give us a break on the rooms.
Well, and that's what they're saying, that you may have to pay more if you want that service, they could incrementally charge you for it. This started with the pandemic because they cut back, obviously people were traveling, they cut back crews, they cut back cleaning crews so much. And I think this is one of those things that changed during the pandemic and is not necessarily going to change back.
I don't like it. That's nasty. Clean the rooms. The person's paying for the room, right? And at the end of the day, let's say someone's staying there for a whole week. They're just going to have more to clean up at the end of the week. They're going to clean the room eventually, right? So just clean it up day to day.
Well, and I think, too, think about airline travel. For years we took the fact that you could bring a bag on it for granted. Then suddenly the airline starts charging for it.
That's right.
I mean, they get smart, right? And I think that the pandemic has given a lot of businesses license to do things like this. We see a lot of surcharges still till this day on your restaurant bill that were maybe something you could excuse in the pandemic. And now it's like, well, why? And all that is it's transferring to you. You're the one paying for it. So we're seeing why this debate is happening about people coming back into the offices in cities like D.C.
Well, speaking of rooms that might be needing a good cleaning, Dan's Cafe in Adams Morgan, the self-proclaimed dive bar, witnesses something that may have been a first to them. An engagement happened over the weekend, and the Twitter account for the bar, or at least a parody account, has apologized to its regulars. So Marina quickly getting engaged at a dive bar. What do we think?
I mean, I love that the parody account came in and was like, wait a second, this place is supposed to be a place where singles go, where there's debauchery, where there's all kinds of just craziness happening. What do you do? What is love doing at this bar? It doesn't deserve to be here. I like that angle.
What do you think?
Not my cup of tea, but to each his own.
Yeah.
I think what I liked about the account was it said that the floor is nasty, the place is dimly lit. Why would you want to get engaged here? I agree. I would never do it.
All right. Well, coming up next, we absolutely guarantee that Sierra will dance at least once in the next segment. Maybe we all will. Probably not. I guarantee you one of us won't.
Do it.
We're back after this. Go ahead,
I'm not feeling this one.
You're fighting it. Okay.
No, I'm not feeling this song.
Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys has been scientifically proven to make people happier than any other song, at least that's what one music psychologist said. So, obviously, Sierra's just like... Hard pass on that one.
No,
what song makes you happy? What brings joy to your life?
I mean, I got.
Hey, Bad Bunny! Yes, I love Miami here in DC.
There you go. It's just a party song, a good instrumental, a little Bad Bunny. This is what they're playing now. This is what I like.
I like Bad Bunny.
All right. You talk about happy. This is what's going to make you happy.
Does it make you happy?
I love it.
What brings joy to you?
Hit it.
Waiting for it. Automatic, supersonic, hypnotic,
Sierra.
funky, fresh. We missed the main part, though. The princess is here. Sierra, this beat is... I love this song. In middle school, everyone was like, oh my gosh, your name is Sierra, like the song. And I was like, yes.
And I was married to Russell Wilson as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That'd be cool. He's a great guy, man. She's lucky.
Wow.
Okay, now this one's a deep dive here.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Here's the thing. How do you not smile when the Price is Right theme comes on? You're talking fabulous prizes. You're talking people in the aisle celebrating.
Money.
You might be money. You're talking about a day off.
Sell it, Jim.
You're talking about the wheel. Don't
That's
forget
right, the wheel. That's right.
You need to host it.
What's
you.
it?
That's like his dream job.
Yeah, that's like
like
Jim's
it.
job.
I sent
I
my
like
tape
it.
and didn't hear back from them yet. Yeah.
Oh, man.
What about you, Troy?
My favorite song that brings me joy is from the Purple Rain album.
I love him.
Good one.
Let's Go Crazy. I have sung this song a time or two as well, and it brings everyone in the audience joy. So, of course, I had to go with this song. It was the first rated R movie I saw, by the way.
Oh.
And so, yeah, this is my jam right here. Let's Go Crazy.
Well, speaking of Let's Going Crazy, let's go to the control room. Producer Corey standing by with the song that brings him the most joy
Corey
and
has a
happiness. And
You sound surprised that I find happiness in something. I went back and forth a long time with this, like 5 songs, all from the same band. Hit it.
Insane.
Beatles all day for me. I have all the vinyls. I know, shocker, old soul me. I have all the vinyls. I'm a Beatles maniac. So I went back and forth between a bunch of Beatles songs. But like, this is a great one.
very nonplussed.
I love it, producer Corey.
I love it, Corey.
The It tracks, the Beatles track.
I got to tell you,
Old school.
And you experienced this, Corey, in Baltimore. You got to see Paul McCartney perform live. I've seen him
good.
perform live too,
So
and that is just that's a party. It's a vibe because you got old and young together up enjoying music, and it was like, and he seems like he's having a ball on the stage.
Everybody knows every word to every song. It was one of the most like communal experiences at a concert I've ever had. It was amazing.
Look at that.
That's how it is at Lizzo concerts, too.
Yes.
Just saying.
I walked out to Lizzo.
That's right.
Yeah.
You didn't bring the crystal flute though.
I didn't.
It's about
That's
dang
next
time.
time.
They wouldn't let me bring it.
All right, coming up next. Thanks, Corey. It's a decision that's been regretted by countless couples, but hey, maybe theirs will be a success story. We'll discuss when we come right back. Welcome back. Marina's version of Charles and Di. Jennifer Lopez on the left and Ben Affleck on the right. They got matching commitment tattoos. J-Lo with the infinity symbol with an arrow in their names. Ben with 2 arrows and their initials. But Marina, is matching tattoos ever a good idea?
I don't think so, but these two, they've been through a lot in over 20 years at this point, so if they feel like this is right, then so be it. Look, Ben has this horrific, like, phoenix on his back that Jen has talked a lot about and been like, why did you ever do that? She, like, kind of, tore into him and Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. So to me, he can be all tatted up. It doesn't really make a difference. For her, it's like, why did you right there in the rib cage? Like, we see her in like all kinds of, provocative stuff, and now she's got this tattoo. But I think that's really where her head and her heart is. She's head over heels over this guy. So more power to you.
What could go wrong, Troy?
Well, here's the thing. I don't have any tattoos. And that's on purpose. And let me just say, like, if I have a significant other, unless we are till death do us part, no tattoos of any of my significant others on my body anywhere. I don't want to become Pete Davidson, where I have to figure out, okay, how do I turn this into a butterfly? I don't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
H-E to the double hockey stick? No, I do not want a permanent symbol
You're so innocent.
representing commitment to anyone on my body. Just give me that nice big ring and I'm good to go. Hey, shout out to Diamonds. That's my birthstone.
Yes.
All right, we want to check the results of our question tonight. Teenagers choosing not to get their driver's license. 61% of you. Apparently, the parents are watching tonight.
Okay.
Actually, no. I think the kids are watching. The parents would be the ones saying 39% they like it. So there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that is our show tonight. We thank you so much for joining us, Troy. It was great to see you. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thanks for inviting me,
Have a
as
good time.
always.
See you.
We'll see you back here, Sierra. Thank you for coming in.
Great to see you.
And Marina and I are back tonight at 10, 11 here on Fox 5. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
guess.
Bye-bye.
Because I'm happy.